If you're using a laptop, what you should do is rig something, I don't care what it is, so that you can have your keyboard separate. Get a separate keyboard for that laptop, put the laptop up on a box or anything else that gives it the right height. Look up ergonomics for personal computers because you're not going to find much in the way of ergonomics for laptops. Use the ergonomics that they tell you on your keyboard and have the monitor, your PC monitor, the height that you want. You can also do the same thing by having a separate monitor or whatever, but get the keyboard separate from the monitor. If you're using a tablet, hopefully there's a keyboard that's separate from the tablet. So anytime you've got a keyboard and a screen in the same place, you're asking for trouble eventually. And ask any chiropractor that there is if there's more increases in headaches, neck pain, and other things from people using small computing devices. It's on the rise and with younger and younger people. And as I mentioned, that head forward position that develops, that not only causes neck pain, that can cause pain down your whole arm. These muscles up here can also have trigger points that are really strange that can refer pain to other areas. For example, the front of the chest, the edge of the shoulder blade in the back, the shoulders, down the arm, into the hand. They can cause wrist pain, forearm pain. They can mimic carpal tunnel syndrome, and it's a very common cause of misdiagnosis. These muscles here on the side of your chest, that's where the nerve goes underneath. And those muscles, if they're tight, even if they're not causing numbness, can cause rounded shoulders, forward shoulders, because there's a little knobby up there that is part of your scapula, which is your shoulder blade, but a little piece, a part of it, goes underneath your collarbone in a little knobby right there called the coracoid process, which there won't be a quiz. But that muscle going down to 3 different ribs here can pinch on the nerves that go down your arm. And they can mimic carpal tunnel, or they can cause those 2 little fingers to be numb, or they can make the whole hand numb. And a way to tell if these muscles are a problem is if your arms are up, try this. If you hold your arms up and slowly move your fist up and down and squeezing your shoulder back too, do that for 3 minutes. If that makes your problem much worse, that's coming from here. Unless it's so severe that your hands are numb all the time from that, if you put your hands down and the numbness goes away, and it could be, you could get numb from riding a bicycle, just hands up this far, riding a motorcycle, even computer or in the car, and then you put your hands down and within 10 minutes the numbness goes away, that's coming from here. And it's very possible for a person to have problems in many different areas at the same time. If it's from 2 different areas, that's called double crush. If it's from more areas, that's multiple crush. Another place is the vertebrae. And there are common patterns, nerve patterns, that the vertebrae have in the numbness of the fingers, but some people, they get a neck adjustment and their numbness goes away. Son of a gun. But you can tell if the problem's coming from the neck if you turn your head in the different directions that you can turn your head, and if you turn it one way and the numbness gets worse, and you want to hold those positions, and see if it gets worse or diminished or gets better by different ways you hold your neck. That's a neck problem. Sometimes you can fix that just by loosening up the neck muscles, which I'll show you in the course, different ways to loosen it up. It's easier for someone else to work on the back of your neck than yourself, but there's ways you can do it, plenty of ways. But sometimes you might need an adjustment from a chiropractor, or sometimes it might be more severe where you've got a bone spur in the neck or a disc problem or something else that you can't fix yourself. And everything else is in front of your body. You almost never feel pain here in the front muscles. You almost never feel pain here because these are bully muscles. For some reason, if you feel pain in the back of your neck or between your shoulder blades, you feel it there, but it might be caused by the things in the front that are pulling things forward. And like I said, you don't usually feel pain until you push on them. And then you go, wow, where did that happen? How did I get that? I didn't know that was painful. But because they're in front of your body, you can do things about them. And my techniques are either minimal hands techniques or no hands techniques, because it's pretty likely that your other hand is problematic too. People think carpal tunnel surgery is the end-all be-all, but it is not. All the stuff you have to go through post-op and the lost time and the possibilities that you could come out worse. Because in surgery, most clinics have a failure rate that they claim of 8%, somewhere around there. So that out of every 100 people that has surgery, 8 fail for whatever reason. They could have screwed up, there could have been infection, could have just not worked, the person's not better, and that's what they call a failure rate. But from satisfaction from people who have had the surgery, 55% have an unhappy result because of weak hands. That's the most common thing people complain about. And the other thing is, for some people, it just takes so long. You know, people, you go to the forums, there's people who say, oh, I was, back at work within a few days, typing, and stuff, and not a big problem. My doctor said I healed really well. And some people do. Other people, 6 months later, they're saying, why do I still hurt? When will this get better? So not everybody is the same. And another common thing, people say, well, they've got pain, different pain than they had before. Pain here, pain there. And they've had that for 2-3 months. And their doctor says, well, that's normal. And it goes away as is from the strap part. But people endure things after surgery, but no one ever tells them things they can do ahead of time. Let's say you've had a nerve conductivity test and it says you've got carpal tunnel problems and you could risk permanent nerve damage. Well, if you've let it go so far that your hand's dead most of the time, you just have to have the surgery, well, you've let it go. But in most cases, that's not the case. In most cases, it's not an emergency. You've got plenty of time to reverse it. And if you've had a nerve conductivity test and they say, well, you're in danger of nerve damage. Well, carpal tunnel surgery does nothing to fix the nerve. In fact, hopefully they're not touching the nerve, and sometimes they screw up and do, but hopefully they're not touching the nerve. They're not fixing the nerve, they're taking the pressure off the nerve. What if you could take the pressure off the nerve yourself? For example, those swollen tendons from all the gunk in there. What if you could mechanically get the gunk out? No more carpal tunnel problems. Or if it's forearm problems, what if you could alleviate the forearm problems? No more carpal tunnel problems. And if it comes back because you keep on doing things, well, you'll know how to get rid of it.